Breaking the law of silence has been a seed that we probably have been suppressing and pressing, but it comes. This is the season when things rise to the surface. It's just like spring, or it's just like the autumn leaves are falling. And perhaps this is what is happening when I say something has risen to the surface. But I believe that the season that we are in now of 2021, what we call the fall as well, is that the state of affairs or even the leaves a representation of what we have to leave behind, of what is required to burn up, to build, to whatever that is requiring attention. Welcome, beautiful people. I am Crimey Queen, your partner in crime, here to help you break the law of silence for your evolution. Because for all of us, there is an aspect of our makeup or in an area or specific area of our lives where we are required to break the law of silence. Now, we may not have thought about it as a law, but because we have kept quiet in a certain way, we have actually adopted that law. It's like a wall. I tend to see the word law like in the reverse WAL, like a wall has been erected. And of course, that reminds me of a poem from the Crimson Light, where I am asking, have you built a wall, a Jericho wall? And right now the wall has to come down, it has to tumble down, people. If we want that freedom, we have to break loose, we have to move. But sometimes we become so complacent. It reminds me of the study where we become so conditioned. It's the experiment is done with conditioning dogs with a sound, and every time they hear that sound, they are fed, and after a while, even if they are not fed, their responses are still the same because they have been programmed. Now that is exactly what has happened to us, and in my series of videos that I have done, especially the recent ones, where we see that food or the word eat correlates with God, it is very difficult for me not to at least touch on, a bit on numerology right now, but not impossible. I'm not with the board and paper or pen, but we see that the word eat is in the middle of breathe, or we see the word eat can be from the heart, from the word heart, or which is very well, the heart is the central part of our cells. If we do not breathe, for instance, um, and of course we have eat there, that tells a lot about how food has been used for well, generations and generations to control people or to control each other. And so I am saying this to raise that awareness. This is what they say: you are what you eat. If you are eating a food that is being conditioned, so to speak, fast food, you may just smell it because you're so used to passing this way, maybe every Friday or so, and you have thought to yourself, oh, I'm treating myself tonight to a takeaway, and you decide, you get into a custom of buying this fast food on a Friday night, and it has a certain taste, or you behave in a certain way that propels a certain conditioning. And so on this channel, we want to break the law of silence that tells you that you have to continue a condition that does not serve you or no longer serves you. Because sometimes we really need, it is appropriate to have a certain condition when you are not prepared to look into a situation, look into the things that affect you, look into the pain that you feel. And so we want to numb them. We want the defense mechanisms to be able to cope with the situations that we are not ready to look at. So, from my journey of actualizing self love, the subtitle of the Crimson Light Volume 1, there's one of the I'm just feeling that I need to um just share with you, and I might have done this before, but if Spirit leads me onto this page, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So I was actually thinking about a part of this chapter, which I would have loved to be able to get, but where we are conditioned, and but there are different levels. So basically, I'm just going to read a little poem here, and let's get something from this. There must be something there for you, because we are now eating a certain food that is going to condition us in a different realm, or for a different realm, and for our evolution. So this is food, or food for thought, however you want to say it. So perhaps it is because I experienced bout of magnetic force before, and was exceedingly becoming more aware of its nature. For example, unknown to him, my supervisor at the University of East London taught me something about presence. I walked into his office one day. As I recall, I had failed my written papers with what I think looked like a double F. Until then, I didn't know that that grade existed. I mumbled something to him, but with the old cloak I wore that was labeled lacking self esteem and self confidence had actually blocked my throat. I could not find my voice to express what I wanted to say. However, I left his office feeling quite blissful. I had left with something far more valuable than it had been, or than if it had been a double A, providing that exists at all. Some years later, however, looking into Dr. John Damartino's eyes in one of his London seminars also taught me something about presence no one can deny. So I intentionally allow my feet to carry me because I wanted to shake his hand. Now, although my old cloak was wearing off, I still felt challenged. And right there and then, I had to make an oath. Mr. Payne, what do you want of me? Why bother me now more than ever? So much I have done to keep you happy inside, so much. Mr. Payne, no more can I afford to keep you in here. You have outgrown the garments that you now struggle to wear. Look, the threads have been pulled apart, and your seams are now busted on all sides. Mr. Payne, you may no longer reign, for surely even you too can see that the patches and dance, though they may be in style, but certainly not for those who know that you can no longer hide even from bright colors of distortion that constantly seek out attention. Mr. Payne, as you well know, this time is important, so don't waste your time nor mine. Therefore, I now permit you to be released, be transformed, for ultimately that is what you must do. Return unto self and be joyous, for that is where it is promised we'll surely meet again. Then I permitted myself to speak. I said, "Thank you, but I must say, your eyes are beautiful. They are most dazzling to my eyes as they transmitted a sense of grace directly to my soul. Though often indescribable, I recognize the essence of presence almost everywhere. This is how I knew that it was the crimson light that had glowed upon me, which seemed to perfectly reflect the words of my teacher Emmett Fox in his essay on faith. Fox said, nothing can come into your experience unless it first enters your mentality, and nothing can enter your mentality unless it there finds something like itself to which it can attach itself to. Now, this is what I call the law of attraction as well. And this is what happens, of course, when we are conditioned. The seed has been planted so deep within us that we are very much unaware that whatever we are behaving or whatever we are doing, speaking or saying, whatever it is, that there is a degree of attraction. There is a seed that has come or risen to the surface and is seeking out attention. It is as simple as that. So, what you give attention to is what grows. So, I really want to say that breaking the law of silence has been a seed that we probably have been suppressing and pressing, but it comes. This is the season when things rise to the surface. It's just like spring, or it's just like the autumn leaves are falling. And perhaps this is what is happening when I say something has risen to the surface. But I believe that the season that we are in now of 2021, what we call the fall as well, is that the state of affairs or even the leaves a representation of what we have to leave behind, of what is required to burn up, to build, whatever that is requiring attention. This is what is happening. So, do join me again, Ignited Souls, where we can begin to break the law of silence by taking responsibility of what is happening in your life, that we can begin to evolve. So, it's about, which I like, Brother Polite's synchronicity, breaking the law of silence. So I've deliberately left the tone in the video, as you can see that this is the universe speaking out loud, helping us to break the law of silence. I hope you find the humor in this. And of course, I was saying that I like Brother Polite's mantra, the revolution for the evolution. So let's see what sense we can make of all this.